Nobesuthu. Mr. Ngwenya, excuse, okay to proceed. The floor is therefore yours. It is now 2:55. Thank you.
No.
You will be done at 2:20, at 3:20.
No, thanks, Chairperson. Chairperson, let me thank this opportunity given to this institution, and also thanks the directives that were given to us. Those directives have assisted us a lot because now we have improved on those issues raised by the community and the concern of the community, the dignity of the community. Then there were three issues. One, it was the sewer spillage. The other one was the sewer treatment, and the other one was the issue of the access of water. Those were different complaints which were directed or were made against the institution. Fortunately, we subpoenaed, we appeared before the commission. We've addressed all those issues. The first one was the issue of the sewer spillage around Komati Port and Malalan. That one we have addressed it. At Malalan, we've constructed a sewer package plant through the DTM model. It was constructed by EDM here at Ehlanzeni. Then the other one in Komati Port at Sportnet, we've also addressed that one. We've appointed the contractor, and even now he's still on site, just putting some few pipes for that sewer, because when we check Komati Port, the Sportnet is just on the lower part, while the whole of Komati Port is on the upper part. And before the sewer pipeline goes to our sewer reservoir or to the plants, it must first via the Sportnet, and then Sportnet is on the sloper part. That is why most of the time we find that there's a lot of spillage. But what we have done together with Transnet, they have constructed their own septic tank, which is a little bit higher, and then we have cut now our line just on the other side of their septic tank. But there's another construction which is now currently running to make sure that going forward in future, when even if the whole of Komati Port is full and there's a lot of flooding, because we used to expect a lot of rains there, then we won't have a future spillage. That one has been addressed, Chairperson. On the issue of the access to water, there was also a complaint by one old man, Mr. Makakula, a former principal of Shongo High School. We appeared before the commission. We have addressed the issues, and Mr. Makakula was among those elders, and we have categorized some people in our institution, those who are disabled, those who are the home, what you call the homage, categorize those people when we send water tankers to deliver inside their houses, because we don't deliver to all houses, household physically with water tankers, but those special group, we have categorized those people who are sick, home-based carers, home-based care home, then we delivered water straight to them. But when coming now to to access to water, we are still doing the rezoning. They don't get water 24/7 in the rural villages. Only the 4 towns, which is Malelane, Malot Park, Hectosprate and Komatipot. Those are the rate taxpayers. They get water 24 hours. But on the villages, we are zoning the water maybe twice a week or twice a week. But the main problem now, to say 100% of the community, they are having access to water, is this mushrooming of this new settlement within our area. Mind you, another problem of Nkoma's local municipality, were bordering the kingdom of Eswatini. All these people are flocking to the municipality, and then we accommodate them, irrespective of whether they are South African citizen or not, irrespective of whether they are illegal immigrant or not, as long people are settled in the country. And fortunately, we had a meeting even yesterday, and today the meeting is still continuing. We had a meeting with the House of Traditional Leaders, the whole of Nkoma's Executive Council. They are meeting still now at Skukuza, because now we want to make a binding agreement between the local municipality and the House of Traditional Leaders to say, now, whenever they want to allocate stand, we sit around the table. Whenever we have our council meeting, they must be part of the mayoral, they must be part of the mayoral committee. All the developments, all the plans, we must do it jointly. And now we're taking control of all the land in Nkomazi, because one land belongs to the municipality, one land belongs to the tribal authority. We don't want to see any person in between allocating stand. We want to make sure that we survey all the land around the area, whether is this land suitable for residential, or this land is suitable for other mineral, or whether there are mineral around, or even the issue of wetland. People now, they put the stands on wetlands. And when coming the time of disaster, Nkomazi is in a low-lying area. Whenever there's rain, heavy rain, within 2 days, we expect floods. And those people, they've already built houses next to the wetland, next to the stream. Then we must make sure that all those people around the stream, whenever there's still land available under the traditional leadership, they must make sure to move all those people around the wetland and the stream, in order to make sure that come the issue of disaster, come the rain, we don't expect such. But by out of those directives, the three which were given to us, really a chairperson, that has made a difference. And when we check now on improving the good, once we improve the good sanitation, we make sure that the dignity of a human being is taken into consideration. The health the health is also taken into consideration. The economy, because once there's poor health, then our economy will suffer. The production will not be okay. Even the environment, once the inadequate sanitation, that it leads an environmental degrading, like water and pollution and all those things, and it will even pollute the water source that you are having. Then when coming now the municipality, I will go straight a chairperson, because the presentation, unfortunately, we yes, the municipality has received first year 2012, it was a disclaimer. 2013 qualification, 24. Okay,
We are looking at it.
okay. Now, okay, let me take you through these pages now. Yeah.
To inform the panel, the presentation is on the WhatsApp group.
I will be touching the key issues here, Chairperson. We go to slide number 49. Slide number. Here we have put all the villages. The other villages, they get water 2 times a week. Others, 3 days a week. And again, when coming now to sanitation, we're having convertible sanitation in rural villages, but in towns, we're having the sewer system. But currently, we're constructing a sewer plant around Gamhlushwa, and a sewer plant will be constructed around Mchechane. Then the rest, they are using the Dignify one. All the towns and even the hospital, they are having that sewer line, and even the malls. The services that we are rendering is electricity, roads, water, sanitation, including waste removal. Those are all under community services and under infrastructure. If you go to page 51, those are what I've mentioned. Then page 54. That is what I have touched, the issue, the challenges of the flood that we are experiencing in each and every year. The locality, those people who have built on the streams, the aging of the infrastructure, the mushrooming of new stands. That's what we are signing the agreement now with the House of Traditional Leaders, the aging of infrastructure. We've also covered that. Another problem is the cable theft. There's a syndicate moving around. Once they steal this cable, will not even operate our plant, will not even operate our plant. That's
Minutes has gone.
I want to just to quickly go to finance. Don't know, yeah, which page. Yeah. When coming to the audit outcome, I'm just checking the slides, Chairperson here. For the past, I would say for the past 9 years, as a municipal manager, the first year it was a disclaimer. The second year, that is 13, 14, those were qualification. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 5 years in a row, it was unqualified with some matters. Those matters include, the first one was something in issues of VAT, but most of them was the adjustment of financial statement. Once you adjust the financial statement and that adjustment, then it leads for one not to get a clean audit. But when coming to ISCOM now, Nkomazi municipality is not owing a single cent. We don't have any arrangement with ISCOM for the past 4 to 5 years. Our account is zero. We are paying ISCOM in time. And even whenever we close our financial year, we close it with some money, cash in the bank, then we are financially stable. And even the collection rate is at 94%, because out of all the 4 towns, there's no one who is putting this. There's no illegal connection. There's no stealing of electricity around the towns, because we've installed smart meters. And in the villages, we are not selling, we are not distributing electricity, because we know that there are a lot of ISCOM is doing the distribution in all these villages, Chairperson. I think that is kunaba Mabuya, kunaba Mtimane, kunaba kaSlumane, kunaba kaMadzanza, kunaba Kunene, kunaba kaMadosela, kunaba kaChibi, baningi.
Baningi. Wena ungowakaba?
Mina ngumdzawe, Slumane Madzanza.
Siyabonga. Siyabonga. Thank you so much for your presentation, Babungwenya. As indicated earlier, I'm going to then hand over to the panel to engage you on your presentation But prior to that, may I get an indication from you if you prefer individual questions or if you prefer to take all of the questions at once?
I will take all at once.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ngwenya. I will begin on my left with Commissioner Sbanyoni and then move to the provincial managers.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, on my side, there are no questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Sbanyoni. I will now hand over to the provincial managers, particularly the Mpumalanga manager who may have a more closer relationship or understanding of the issues in Nkomazi. Over to you, provincial managers.
Thanks. Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Chair. Thanks so much. Mr. Ngwenya, you've painted a very promising picture, and I think credit must be given to, as you said in your presentation, the history of our engagement, because we are like here following a recent engagement where you were subpoenaed for the same challenges, and you indicate that they've been addressed. Obviously, there may be a need for us to do a verification exercise after this engagement. But in brief, are you saying at the moment there are no service delivery challenges in your municipality, except that obviously you are not providing water 24/7, and that you experience or there's a risk of experiencing spillages during rainy seasons? Other than that, there are no service delivery challenges in the municipality. Just want to get your official response to that. Thank you.
Can I respond now?
Yes, you can.
No, thanks here. Chair, the issue of roads infrastructure is a challenge. Remember, we had a disaster. I think the whole of Tanzania. Our roads were damaged severely, and we made some application for the funds. Unfortunately, up to today, we have not yet received that fund. It's only Culture who assisted us in few villages with 10 million. Road infrastructure is a problem. Another really big problem, provincial roads in our municipality. When I'm talking of provincial roads, I'm talking about roads connecting one village to another. All those roads belong to public works. They are in a bad situation. If you can go around Komasi from Skumasdal Plaza to Kamhlushwa, there are a lot of potholes. From Three Copies Moshari to Middle Plus Shoesdal, the road is no tar anymore. From Hector Spray to 13 Hill, there's no tar. From Zinti, you pass Ntunda, you pass Skwahlane, you pass Matateni, you pass Sbange, you go to Makutu, Mkoboti. That road, there's no road. A road from Ludloma, from Gwenyen to Ludloma, there's no road. A road from Gwenyen to Steenbok belonging to public works, there's no road. All, I would say 90% of provincial road is dead. And we have requested so many times for their assistance, but up to today is really, that is one of the problems when coming to service delivery. Road infrastructure, no. We're trying our almost best. We're building roads as a municipality. We have constructed 2 roads at Chepis Reef, 2 roads at Skumasdal, another road at Buffalo Street. Currently, we're constructing a bus road also at Mangweni. There's another one at Masibegela. There's another one at Koba. All those one, the other three, Chepis, Skuman, and Buffalo Street, those are complete. Masibegela, Mangweni, Koba is under construction. Road is a problem. Even the issue of cable theft is a problem. And illegal connections on water is a problem, but we've employed law enforcers who are removing all those illegal connections. And now, when coming to construction of water, we've put the steel pipe because they don't cut steel pipe.
Okay. Maybe as a final bite from me, according to a submission we received from Cochrane National, your municipality is currently under investigation for maladministration and corruption. Is that so? Can you share with us what the allegations relate to? When did this investigation start, and where is the process currently?
No, thanks, Chairperson. Chairperson, during COVID, this thing started during COVID. During COVID, Nkomas was an epicenter, as you know. The COVID in the province started at Nkomas. But that time, we were addressing the issue of COVID. We were fumigating for all the departments, the schools, the police station. It didn't start there. There was an article from a newspaper. All these things, it came out of a newspaper to say Nkomas municipality has spent 27 million on COVID, which was not true. By then, all the municipality, including us, were given, it was 625,000 grant, disaster grant. Then we managed to use our own revenue. As I said, that the municipality is having enough revenue to purchase the PPEs. And those PPEs, we did it once. It was in March. The 27th of March, we appointed service providers. They started to deliver and fumigate from the fair those PPEs. Until today, we're using those PPEs. Then that was the matter on the newspaper. And again, it went further because that thing was on the newspaper. Then Auditor General, we gave them all the documents. Those documents for the Auditor General, if you can see the report there, they've done that. Auditor General again came with another team, they call it investigating team from nationally. They've done that. Another team from nationally, a performance for the department. There was report number 2. All the departments under COVID, they were reported on report number 2. For the municipality, it will go on report number 3 for all the municipalities. And then in the province, they said 5 municipalities must be investigated on COVID. But fortunately or unfortunately, Nkomazi was the one, and we've submitted everything. Up to today, even the Hawks, they didn't arrest anyone. They've got the documents. I don't want to say happy or what, but even Auditor General now, again, a forensic team was in our municipality. They got all the documents. The report will be tabled to the council, and now it's in the hands of the Cochrane. I think maybe you will see that report.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair, for your presentation. I just wanted to follow up on that to ask if you know about the release of that 106 report by Cochrane. Has it been released? That's the first thing that I wanted to find out. Secondly, I don't know. I hardly hear a municipality or a rural municipality like yours saying you are financially stable, there's money in the bank account. We don't hear that often in South Africa. And I can tell you that all over the country, we don't hear that often. But at the same time, in the same breath, there are still challenges with service delivery when we have money in our bank account. Perhaps you should expand on that to say, what do you think needs to be done differently to improve on service delivery? We know that issues of water may be because of its shortage of water itself, and not that you can't. But in most municipalities, it's because of the capacity of the municipality that people don't get services. The other issue is I want to hear you on your land management. If you have land planned for human settlement and development in your area, your relations with any government departments that may be owning the land, as well as your relationship with traditional leadership in your areas in terms of land allocation and management.
No, thanks. On the issue of Section 106, we are waiting for, because the last day for them in our institution was 22 last month. Yes. Now, we're just waiting for COGTA to bring their report to us. That is number one. Two, the issue of finance is true. Who are financially stable, even in rural here. That is not a joke. You can even go to our financial statement to the bank. Money. I'm not saying that we are having money. I'm talking about cash in the bank. Cash, when we close the financing, is budgeting. We budget according to the needs and the IDP. You see, there's a budget. This thing is aligned. The three is aligned. When it is aligned, we budget accordingly. And whenever we budget, there's a surplus when budgeting. If you budget for a deficit, that's another problem. That's another problem. And if you can go down now to the ground in our municipality, we will find we are having 33 wards. Out of all the 33 wards, each and every ward, there's a current project running, or there's a project which has been completed last year, or there are multi-projects. If you can go to you see on slide number 4, from 2017 up to now, you will see the list of projects that we have completed on water. Now we're having a lot of reservoirs. We don't have a problem with reservoirs. The only challenge now was with bulk. And we're busy with the bulk under the regional bulk scheme from water and sanitation. And then the rest, the reticulation, that's what we're doing it. If there was no much rooming of these new villages, people coming from Mozambique and Kingdom of Eswatini, come as the on service delivery, will be saying we're okay. But each and every day, there's this much rooming, then that's the cause of this. On the issue of land management, here, human settlement, we have requested human settlements to board us some other land from those farms around. There's another land extension 21 around Malalane. We're building the CRU. We're going to put other infrastructure. There's some stands. There's another extension one in Komati Port. We managed to get that land. There's another land in Komati Port again. That land we bought it around 2009. We use a DBSA loan, and we have settled that DBSA loan. Belongs to the municipality. We don't owe any person. That land does not belong to even the traditional leadership, and there's no claim there. There's no trust there. That is why now, when coming to SEZ, there's a model that we are going to use. 33% will come to the 33.3 will come to the municipality. 33.3 will come to the province. 33.3 go to DTI. We're going to create a Nkomazi SEZ entity, which will be audited, which will run that entity. Now, when coming now to this land management, we're dealing now with this leadership. Even today, as I've told, the meeting is on, even yesterday. We'll be running the institution in Nkomazi now with the traditional leadership and the municipality. Whenever we want to develop anything, we go together. If there's a land belonging to the tribal authority, then we'll be sitting down with them to say, your land here, underground, there's some mineral, don't do this. We will do this. We advise them because we want to open some industries down there. Nkomazi is one of those few, if you can check in the province, chairperson, that is the stable municipality under my leadership when coming to finance, because I've been running it. This will be my 10th year running the institution.
That's a very encouraging scenario. Finally, your water services development plan is up to date. You update it regularly. I believe then it means you would have to at all times make some adjustments.
Because this village, now you must also update your water master plan each and every time. But in town, the water master plan, we know that we are safe. You see, road master plan, we are safe. But now again, we must also ask master plan. Same applies. Even the infrastructure, the electrical master plan, we must also extend it, because there's now each and every villages. The only problem now, when coming to all the services, is the listing, because you will find when we deal with this now service delivery, we find a problem because those meters must be put to a South African. You have put this electrical meter or the water meter, but the owner of the stand has been given by the traditional leadership is a Mozambican. Now, that is the audit part. That this person must have services, the nationality, irrespective of the document. That's the problem that we're having.
Mr. Ngwenya, I share the sentiment. This does sound like the example leaders. So well done to you. Would it necessitate a visit for us? We would want to see this for ourselves. So we'll be visiting your area soon, and the provincial manager and the provincial officers will arrange that. It is unfortunate that we didn't receive this presentation prior to you presenting it now, because we didn't get to study it. That all 65 pages of this presentation, we have to rush through them and release some. During your engagements with colleagues, I've tried to just quickly skim through, and I've got some questions on a few slides that I would like us to engage on. The first is slide 4. 2018, 19, 19, 20, 2021, the number of households without sanitation services increased to the point where in 2020 to 2021, it was. Would you please explain that, particularly in light of your identification of the challenges you still mention? You mentioned roads, cable theft, illegal connections, but you didn't speak to the picture we got was that your sanitation issues were sorted. But here there are 6,237 households that don't have access to basic sanitation.
Yes.
So that is the first one. On slide 6 is just a clarity. You've got to the it's a column. Let's call it a column to the right, the one with the red flag. You've mentioned that one of the red flags is low population growth. And my reading here is that because the area is not a destination of choice. But with that said, then there was slide 6, but then in slide 7, it seems that there is a significant population growth. So could you mention slide 7?
Okay.
Then will you just make a note of all of the questions, please? Thanks. Then we move to slide 11. We must congratulate you on this high matric pass rate. But could we get an understanding of what happens to the rest of the learners? I see that in 2018, for example, 35.3% of the 86% that passed matric. Where did they go? Then if we move to slide 16, this is a pie chart of, and the questions that I wanted to raise, but I'm just going to ask one, and that's in relation to mining. I see in 2014, mining constituted 1.8% of total industry. And then in 2017, it constituted 1%. I'd like to get an understanding of what companies or which companies are mining within your municipality, and what explains the change from 1.8 to 1%. Then in slide 22, amongst the challenges that you mentioned, you also point to violence and crime. Now, we cannot dispel the fact that some of our most atrocious social rural landscapes, particularly when it comes to discriminations on the basis of subjective difference. That means that women, children, older people, in areas where there's violence and crime, those people are the most vulnerable. Could you give us an indication of the different way that the various groups within your municipalities are, particularly noting that the toxic forms of masculinities that you find that are infused with distorted versions of tradition in rural areas? Could you perhaps maybe speak to that as well? Then if you, slide 14, sorry, I'm on slide 22, but there was slide 14 as well that I wanted to speak to. But on how much money you have at the end of the year, which is a commendable thing. But when you look at slide 14, your unemployment rate is quite high. Now, a lay person will say, well, if you've got this money at the end of the year, why would you not invest it in? So could you maybe speak to that as well? And related to that is slide 43. one would assume that in an area such as Nkomazi, agriculture would form the largest chunk of your economic activity or industry. But I see that it's in 2014 it formed 5.6%, 2017 6.2. You have so much land that's available in an era of incredible food chains because of the global pandemic that we are in. Could you maybe allow the panel to understand this figure in relation to agricultural activity in an area that does have money, that does have land, that does have people who are unemployed? The last, maybe not last, but slide 53, Mr. Ngwenya. Again, in relation to this money, congratulate you on filling a lot of the vacancies from 1920, 2021. However, you still have a significant number of vacancies that are not filled when you do have the money and you do have a high unemployment rate. So the question is, why are these positions not filled? Then the law, and this is the figures with regards to your audit outcomes. And West Felix is in page 64. Could you please explain those figures, and particularly with reference to the consequence management therein? Mr. Ngwenya, the floor is yours.
No, thank you. Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, let me take you back to this, I think, slide number, your questions concerning the stats. Yeah, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 6. Chairperson, when talking to population, the stats, this population is in terms of 2021 stats. In 2021, the number of households in Nkomazi was 96,202 in terms of the stats SA. Now, if you go now to the community survey of 20, the number of households has now increased from 96,202 to 103,965. The last stats that we are having on the table here is for the 2011 stats. But from 2011, that has been built. There was grazing land. There was a grazing land between Skumansdal and Chempis. But now, as we're talking, there's no grazing land. All stands. If you know again, from Trikopis, between Trikopis and Bosfontein, there was grazing land. Now there's no grazing land. Between Langeloop and Gamshushwa, there was grazing land. No grazing land now. Between Gamshu and State SA, the only one that we're having is 2011. That is why this difference. Now, according to the community survey, we are delivering services in terms of the community survey. The head count now that we are using is not the same as States SA is having it on paper. That is why we're having a problem even with our equitable share, because the equitable share, we get it in terms of the States SA. Now, the household has increased, but the States SA, they have not yet updated it. It's just the same as when you check the blue and green drop. You don't get the outcome of a blue and green drop each and every year. They say 2 years, 3 years in between when you get that result. Same applies to the states. If you go to the airport, in Mpumalanga Kruger, on the left, after Carino, there were no stands. But now there are many stands up to the airport. And in terms of the stands, all those stands are not there. Stands 2011. All the villages in the areas. Yes.
Sorry, I'm going to have to come in.
Mm.
Is that I'm speaking to the numbers you have provided.
Exactly.
And you are saying these numbers are not the latest numbers. We are here with the understanding that the numbers you are giving us, when you say there's 10 people in Komazi, we are not assuming that 10 is the number that Stats SA gave in 2011, and now you've got 50 people. So we are of the assumption that the numbers you are giving us are equivalent to the people who are there currently, not the people who were there 10 years ago, quite the space of 10 years. So the crux of the question is, if the numbers you are giving us and what you give us, because in the presentation or in the report you give us, because in the absence of that clear indication, we assume that these numbers are the current numbers and not the numbers from a decade ago. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chairperson. That is why, Chairperson, I've opened slide number 2. If you can check slide number 2, I'm saying in 2011, the number of households in terms of the state, it was 96. But now, currently, we were at 103. And in 2011, according to the stats, those who didn't have access, it was only 18,373, 18 without access of water. But now as we're talking, you see, we're at 11,840, which is bigger than the old one. No, sorry, we're at 11. I'm just putting it straight here. The number is 11,840. Meaning that even on the new settlement, we've tried and push and put all those, the pipeline and even the infrastructure on the ground. That is the difference. We're doing in terms of the states and in terms of the survey, the community survey on the ground. Those are the two things, ma'am. Maybe I'll move to the. Now, when coming now to the next question, the slide numbers, the TUT or the mining, I'll go straight to the mining. The number was 1.8, but now it has gone down to 1. The reason for that, in Commerce, we're having only 2 mines. That is the Mangweni anthracite and Lily Mine. Lily Mine, after that tragedy of those 3 people, then went down to and died there. That mine was closed. That is why the percent. Yeah. Again, when coming now to agriculture, Commerce is known for agriculture, it's true. But there's a problem which occurred there. Most of these farms were owned by white, and then there was land distribution to the trust. Now, when this land was given back to us blacks, then they're still in fight, and even today, the trust and the House of Traditional Leaders, you will see farms on the road. Those farms which were productive, but now there's nothing because that farm is owned by one of those trusts. You can go to Smoshwa, you can go to Ngomane, you can go to Mawewe. Other farms now, they are dilapidated. They are dead. Then agriculture went down. Then now, when coming to unemployment, you said, yes, it's true. We're having money, but the unemployment rate is high. You are correct. And in each and every plant, in each and every reservoir that has been constructed because of the mushrooming settlement, there must be an employee working in this tank, working in this reservoir, working in this, That is more than 35. But on the other hand, as I'm talking now, we are constructing some reservoirs where there must be physically an employee working there. The only thing that will make us meeting the employee rated cost is for us to increase the revenue in all the villages. Once our revenue increase, our budget will increase, then the employee related cost will balance. Because the employee related cost must balance the budget. And part of it is the income. The income versus the liability and the expenditure. Once your liability is more than your income, again, the violence and crime. Again, the violence in commerce, whenever we are doing the stats together with the South African Police Services, violence and crime, those against women, the GBV, against children, the rape, is high. It's high. It's high. Those are the crime that we have disclosed it. And even if we can go to the cases, you see, and there are those people who are transporting this, what you call children from other countries, because we are now bordering these two countries. And the last one, irregular expenditure. If you check the last column, ma'am, that is, the amount is 861 under unauthorized or the irregular. And then the other one is 102 and 1.8. As an institution, ma'am, we've reduced this UIF, we call it UIF, unauthorized irregular and fruitless expenditure. I was the one, even when we were in a meeting with SALGA and even National SALGA, to say, as a province, we are not addressing this thing of dealing with irregular and fruitless expenditure up to the latter. Because in terms of when you deal with irregular expenditure, what must happen immediately when you incur that irregular expenditure within the institution? First, MPEC must do their investigation. After investigation, they must send a report to council to say, this irregular expenditure, what person must pay. If there's no person liable, then that must be written off and condoned. That is the duty of. But before, if you check the chart now of dealing with irregular expenditure up to the latter, it says, once you deal with all these things, provincial treasurer and co-opter or write it off. Before, it was not like that. Fortunately, last year, we managed to do all these things. This thing of irregular expenditure, we're incurring. Since 2012, the only year that we managed to deal with it, it was only on 2019, where we managed, after discussing with National Treasurer, Provincial Treasurer, and SALGA. Now, on municipality, they can write it off after it has been, all the process has been followed. Maybe we have seen an article saying that Bushbuck Ridge has written off some irregular expenditure. Most of this irregular expenditure, Chairperson, is caused by the flop on supply chain. Now, at Nkomazi, I want to tell you something. At Nkomazi, there were projects which were implemented by Rand Water, where we don't do the supply chain processes. Rand Water, they did a flop together with Cocta. There were projects where it was implemented by Mega.
Mr. Ngwenya, our time is up, so
Okay,
I'm going
thank
to
you.
ask you to kindly
Yeah,
please wrap up.
okay.
I won't cut you. Please
Okay.
wrap up.
Yeah.
And with that, also just your
No,
concluding
thanks.
remarks,
Yeah.
please.
No, just 3 minutes. In 3 minutes' time, most of this irregular expenditure, yes, it was incurred by Nkomazi. The money was with us, but the implementing agents and even other projects are implemented by EDM here. Whenever they did a flop, then we are the one paying. The irregular come to us. That is why now, fortunately, we've taken all the projects. There are no implementing agents. Chairperson, I don't know whether there's anything. Yeah, that's all, Chairperson. Thank you.
Mr. Ngwenya, Mr. Nsabo, we would like to thank you for your time and for your presentation. as indicated, we will follow up with further questions where clarity is sought. And in addition to that, certainly the panel will want to visit your area to verify some of these statements that you have made under oath. With that, we'd like to thank you, Mr. Ngwenya and Mr. Nsabo, for your time. We wish you all the best. And thank you very much. You are officially released.
No, thank you, Mayor. You are welcome for the visit, Chairperson. Thank you.
The time is now 4 minutes to 4 o'clock, and we still have 2 more presentations. I would like to call upon Govern Mbeki Local Municipality.
Which month?
The volume.
While they settle in, Program Director, could you kindly assist us with directions on where their presentation is in our bundle?
Commissioner, Governor Begi's presentation starts on page, sorry, not 142. Okay, sorry, my apologies. It starts on page 61, yes, of Bundle B, Volume 1.
Bundle B, Volume 1, page 61. Welcome. I will now, page 61. Welcome. I will now hand over to Ms. Banyoni for administration.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Afternoon, Commissioner.
Yes, mine is just to administer the oath. There are 2 ways of attesting under oath. One is by taking an oath, and then an alternative thereof if a person has got a problem or an objection in taking an oath, we do an affirmation. So I want to find both of you whether do you have any problem or any objection in taking a prescribed oath.
No, we don't, Commissioner.
Both of you, and then the next will be, will you please just state your full names and in the Governor Mbeki municipality, starting with you, lady on the left-hand side.
On the
Your
left,
full names and surname, and the position that you are holding in your municipality.
I'm from Technical Services, responsible for the treatment works and the pump stations.
What is your surname?
Makomboti.
Makombo. Okay, thank you. And then your full names, please.
thank you. I am the Director responsible for Community Services, but I'm currently the Acting Municipal Manager in Governor Mbeki Municipality.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
I assume the presentation will be made by yourself, Ms. Shabalala. You have,
So thank you very much.
To the microphone, please.
Okay. Yes, I was saying first and foremost, let me appreciate appreciate the opportunity. There was a mixed up in terms of our communication. We were expected to appear before the commission much earlier today, but we did request to be scheduled at a later time, and we really appreciate that you were able to give the highlight of the municipality, the issues in the main, and where we are and what we are doing to address orientation of our municipality. Govanenberg is one of the 4 municipalities with high growth. We are having an influx of residents in our area, probably because of the state of the economy of Govanenberg. You would know that we have mining activities. We also have Sasol and other activities that are drawing job seekers into our of our geography and our area and our population. The municipality has 32 wards, and the numbers are broken. We have townships as well as villages and farms that we are servicing. This is a low to medium income earners. Most of 62% of our population, their salary ranges below 38,000. That already tells you in terms of the activities and whether there is affordability in our area. Unemployment rate was sitting at 36%, but it has slightly come down to 34%, and there's also quite a number of our residents are also on social grants. I think it's just 10,000 of our beneficiaries sitting on social grants, and as a result, we are not a municipality because of the number of people that we are attracting to the area. We find that our access to services, I must indicate, we are compared to when you look at 2016 statistics, particular issues, Human Rights Commission are largely centered around the two. In 2011, you will see that 97% of our residents had access to water, and 98% had access to sanitation, respectively, have access to water, while 99% have access to sanitation. Now, if that is the performance of the municipality, 98 and 99% respectively have, what then becomes the issues that brings us before the commission? Slightly reflected when you go to the table just below. I'm on page 66 of your numbering. We are reflecting there that the mode of supply of our water and sanitation is largely through household connections. As per the table, we are showing Secunda and the nature of the service that we are providing. We are showing area per area. In S, got household connections. We also have communal taps. The communal taps are largely for our informal settlements. As indicated earlier, we attract a lot of people, and because of our house backlog as well in the area, these people are settling themselves in informal arrangements that necessitate that we must connect them, failing which they connect themselves illegally. We also have septic tanks, people that have, because they don't have a waterborne system, they have done a septic tank, and we are sending in trucks to go and empty the septic tanks. We also are having boreholes for our rural farms. We've just concluded some of the projects to give access to those who are staying in farms. On page 67, Chair, we are just highlighting over and above water issues. There's also other services, as you would know, per the Constitution, the mandate of the municipality is waste management, which we are providing, environmental safety, things that I don't wish to spend a lot of time on them, but I just think it's just worth acknowledging at this level. We are in there also the mode of our supply. I've already indicated to say it's largely household connections, and the extent of the kiloliters of water that we are providing, it's also provided on page 67. On page 68 is a continuation of the same per area, per section that we are outlining. Chair, the question was what measures have been put in place in the last 3 financial years to deal with the gaps that have been identified that I spoke to earlier. We have installed boreholes. It's a project that we just completed in the previous financial year. Installation of communal taps to service the informal settlements, procurement of water trucks for water supply. I must say this has come in handy to assist us given our cash flow issues, which I will later articulate. We also procured vacuum trucks for cleaning of these sewer lines, hiring of septic tanks, of course, because of the number of areas that needs to be serviced. We don't have sufficient plant and equipment to do the work internally. Replacement and upgrading of water lines, as well as sewer lines, as well as the refurbishment and upgrading of a number of pump stations, which I will speak to later. The above, of course, us in ensuring that the farms are receiving water through water tankering, the supply to informal settlements, and the VIP septic tanks are being cleaned as it was indicated earlier. I just want to focus then to page 69, which outlines the challenges that we are dealing with. And first and foremost is the issue of aging infrastructure. Governing Mbeki has areas that are old, that the infrastructure is just dilapidating and collapsing. We've got the likes of Abo Embalentle, which is the point of concern even here. And we are not able to address all the infrastructure challenges at the go because of our cash flow problems. There has been a number of initiatives, some of which I would outline under finance, that have been taken to ensure that we get support to upgrade the infrastructure. The installation of boreholes, I must also indicate it has not been a smooth process. You have residential or rather communities that are staying on privately owned farms to go negotiate with farm owners so that we can install boreholes and we have managed to a larger degree. However, we still have to put more boreholes. It's not all that are being serviced through these arrangements. The growing informal settlement remains a point of concern, and I believe a commission of this nature would also have issues to say you've got people that are not accommodated properly. Some of them are on the riverbanks, and during flooding areas, we find that this becomes areas where we become very exposed as a municipality. On paragraph 10.6, we are showing our vacancy rate versus the filled positions. We are operating with a 35% of our vacancy rate. I must say we have just gone through the process of the review of the organogram to do away with vacancies that we believe are redundant or the municipality can live with. We still are going to go into the process of the review after the new council has been established, now after the elections. So, and the aim is that we need to ensure that we only have prioritized positions on the organogram. I think there's a comment also on skills development. There's quite a number of programs that we are doing to ensure that we are also skilling our employees. We are participating in a ISDG program. We've got MISA that is also placing a apprenticeship program or training that we are participating in, and the additional budget is also being development so that we can skill our employees. Chair, I want to spend time on paragraph 10.19, 19, 20, and 2021. We are showing there the income of the municipality. I will just focus on 2021, just as recognize that. However, the past 3 financial years, it has been very difficult. Part of the reason was because of the migration, the part of the migration, the MSCOA. There was a new program, a municipal standard chart of accounting that all municipalities in South Africa had to convert and conform to. During that process, our municipality struggled. Actually, in the processes leading towards the migration, we moved we were assisted by 3 different service providers, and we struggled. In 1 year, we had 3 financial systems that we were operating under. And in the process, we realized that there were problems with some of the figures that did not pull through when we were migrating, resulting in a disclaimer audit opinion, which was announced by the AG in 2018-2019. For 2018-2019, the problem was so gross that we submitted our AF August. That had a bearing on the outer year, which is the year of 1920 as well, because when the AG finished auditing the 1920, we had already submitted the AFS of the following year, the ensuing year, meaning that your opening balances were already misstated because you did not have closing figures as the audit was still underway. So these are some of the issues, but I'm pleased to report that we have since managed to pick up the processes were such that we have now submitted our AFS end of August, and currently the Auditor General is busy at Government Bank with the audit that is now running. So it was submitted on time in issues with the quality of the AFS. Chair, on the challenges, I think I just want to spend a bit of time on paragraph 10.9. The first one, it was dealing with the factors that leads to these revenue challenges. What is the big problem? The issue, Chair, it rests around our collection rate. Currently, our collection rate is sitting at, last month, we were at 65%. In August, there has been a decline. It went to 58% payment rate. Now, that tells you already that you are operating with 50% of your revenue. That is our biggest challenge. What are some of the factors that are hinging on the municipality and affecting the revenue million? That is the state of the municipality.
15 minutes has gone, Commissioner.
Okay. With that, Chair, we are attracting interest. For a year, ESCOM is billing the municipality 65 million interest. That is fruitless, wasteful expenditure. While Water bills the municipality 20 million. That is a matter that we are currently grappling with, to look at the current payment rate as well as to other creditors in our case, and we are not able to keep payment plans. Our negotiations are such that Commissioner, we were requesting that can we focus on the current account so that they maybe freeze the such that Commissioner, we were requesting that can we focus on current account so that they maybe freeze the interest and we start to pay the current account. But of course, we are not able to reach eye to eye with the affected party. Treatment works upgrading. Regrettably, the department has informed us that they will not be able to conclude the 2 projects, and because of the financial challenges on their part, the municipality to take over the projects. We are at the point where we are going to our council to repair an effect in terms of sewer spillages and our ability to respond. Chair, we are also implementing with the support of GWS, Department of Water and Sanitation. They have been assisting us, I think, since the last Human Rights Commission report that came out. We have been at least being able to get their support. They are implementing Extension 5, a project, the upgrading of the sewer pump station, which is going to at least alleviate on the sewer challenges, as well as the infrastructure, or rather the 2 projects are currently running. We also have planned internally through your report, which was tabled to council. There has been a reprioritization, sewer as well as water-related matters receive, I would say, about 90% of the budget of the municipality goes to these 2 services. So there's quite a number of projects that we are implementing. We are also getting technical support from MISA as well as COPTA. They are in our municipality. Chair, I also want to also indicate that we are currently busy developing our water and sewer master plans. I think it was also one of your recommendations or findings and recommendation from your previous report. We have a draft a plan which we have since made comments for the consultant to integrate. The plan will then be taken out for public participation and for comments from the relevant stakeholders. So that is the work that we are currently doing. The work that we are currently doing to try and arrest the issue of what you call water as well as sanitation. I think, Chair, I tried to highlight the issues and the actions that we are implementing. We are ready to deal with the questions and comments if there's any. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shabalala, for the presentation, which is also within time. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. I'm now going to hand over to the panel to engage with your presentation. I will once again start on my left. I will start on my far left with the prof and move to the provincial managers.
Mr. Chabalala, I'll try to be on water and waste. I'm interested in your waste management. Is there a plan to bring on board alternative waste management? In other words, use waste for alternative energy. Okay, there's use waste for alternative energy. Okay, there's a growing body of practice and evidence that waste can be repurposed for energy purposes, and it will be interesting whether there is a directive towards that. On the bundled file, page 68, I see you've committed to suggesting areas in which improvement has been observed, but you don't give figures. Okay, is that 10.5? You simply summarize, but you don't give a commitment that the municipality is exerting itself, and especially in the wake of the need to turn around the performance. On page 69, I'm not sure whether we're on the same level of thinking, or is it a matter of syntax? You use the wording skills audit. I'm not an HR guru, but my understanding is that there's a difference between skills audit and work study. Yeah? So work study simply means you are assessing which units, sections, divisions of the municipality from an organogram point of view that are you. But when you audit skills, it's when you want to determine what capacity, what strengths, what expertise you have. You're not measuring the efficacy, okay? Efficacy meaning the efficient and effectiveness of the units. I hope it's not sounding like a lecture.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So is that what you're referring to, called work study? Determining which sections, which units are working for you, which ones are not working for you. And then I'm taken aback by the figures there. For instance, Office of the Executive Mayor. Do you need 27 posts? I don't know, maybe I'm asking from an ignorance position. But Office of the Mayor, do you need those positions? It sounds it's formed to determine whether some of these posts are a necessity or a nice to have. I don't know. Perhaps you can lead us. You can lead us there. Chair.
Thanks, Prof. Before we proceed, Ms. Shabalala, may I get an indication from you if you would prefer to answer individual questions or if you would like to take the questions of the rest of the panel members and to answer them all at once?
At the risk of maybe losing some of the questions, I'm comfortable to deal with all the questions from Prof.
So one person at a time. The question is,
Perhaps, Chair, let's take them all. Let's take them all.
are you sure?
Yeah. They will remind me if I leave something behind. I hope not to, but it will not be deliberate. But let's take them all. I
Thank
think
you.
it will assist, yeah. Perhaps
Thanks.
some of the issues will be clarified as one respond to other matters.
Thanks, Emma. Commissioner Smanyan.
Thank you. Ms. Chabalala are extremely rural and agricultural. Is it correct to say that, or it's an inaccurate explanation? Extremely rural and agricultural, is it? And to link that with the question of, are there any challenges in recruiting personnel to fill the unfilled post? And then the second one will be the refuse removal. What is your status of the municipality in the refuse removal? Those are my two questions, Chairperson.
Thanks, Commissioner Smanyoni. We now move to the provincial managers.
Thanks, Chair. Ma'am, I have a few. The one is that, well, the first few relate to the AG's audit. One of was that, and this was on your request, that you be allowed to prepare develop and submit a sanitation master plan. At that point in time, 2021 financial year. We are now in the 2021-2022 financial year. And if I followed your presentation, you're still talking about finalizing it. This is problematic because you see, one tool through which we are able to hold each other accountable is through commitments such as master plans. So if the attitude of the municipality is going to be that of working on a master plan which never gets finalized, we are unable to say, these are the commitments we have made, these are the timeframes contained or coupling the commitments, where are you and what are the challenges in terms of implementing that. So I want to get your response as well and a commitment in terms of when can that master plan be furnished to the commission so that we can have something tangible through which we can be able to hold the municipality accountable going forward, especially around. Or maybe let me leave that because I think Commissioner Sibanyoni has covered that so that I don't repeat. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Mayor, for your presentation. Let me first start by saying I have noted that the municipality is one of the municipalities that appeared before the portfolio committee in February of 2021. One of the discussions there was the 106 investigation, the panel. What was that for? Has the report been released? When was it released? And what are the steps that are being taken? The second issue relates to I've been asking every municipality, I've been saying since this morning, I have to ask every municipality to assess level of compliance, about compliance with Water Services Act. In terms of, you spoke about the master plan on, I don't know specifically, your technical director will advise you on it's
It's her competence.
yes, it's their competence. He has to advise you. It's a water services development plan. As to how, when was it last updated? Have access to it? Normally, I would have to pay some fee to get a copy. Yeah. Secondly, what is your in terms of human settlement and development in your areas, the relations you have with stakeholders like human settlement, if at all there is land that is owned by any other government department within your jurisdiction or by the municipality itself. Because we see a lot of land divisions every day, and we want that to at least be managed. So we want a municipality that at least has plans to settle people that in here other issues. Lastly, I've not asked this question, but what is your turnaround response time for sewage spillages? Thank you.
Ms. Shabalala, that constitutes the questions from the panel. Ms. Shabalala, that constitutes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. No, we welcome management. I think perhaps my focus on water and wastewater or sanitation in a way blurred the issues that you are interested in. I didn't know. I would have specifically spoken to your issues. Nevertheless, with our refuse removal, we are our coverage is sitting at all the formalized areas. We are collecting formalized areas. We are collecting refuse. I just want to start there. Our methods, it's a household. They put out the bins. We go. It's a sidewalk collection. Of course, we've got a fleet complement of 20 fleet available. We do maintenance in-house, largely it will be your punchers and all the fleet availability. We do and all that slows down our refuse removal. We do a shift system. The first shift comes at 6 o'clock until 2 o'clock. You've got a 2 o'clock until 10 o'clock for the collection. So when there are disturbances during breakdowns and so on, we do allow our staff to work on weekends. The municipality currently has a IWMP, Integrated Waste Management Plan. I must say the plan is due for review. Its lifespan is 5 years. The municipality currently has a IWMP, Integrated Waste Management Plan. I must say the plan is due for review. Its lifespan is 5 years. We are currently in the 5th year. There is a process for the review that is underway. We are being supported by SASOL to have the plan reviewed. You were asking about alternative energy arising from waste. Yes, you are correct. There's quite a lot of options around available around waste. But I must indicate that 4 of our landfill sites that are operating, we refer to them as landfill site. But in all honesty, their history is that they were commissioned years ago. They were quarries at the time. So they are not necessarily landfill sites that are constructed up to standard. The gases and methane and convert that into energy. So regrettably, we're not at that stage. For that to happen, of course, you need prior planning and ensure that you construct a proper landfill site with the weighbridge and all the associated amenities. There's no access to water. There's no really services as I'm indicating. Construct a regional landfill site. Currently, we are operating 4 sites. So we want to have transfer stations and have a proper constructed landfill site. I must say, though, the focus of council at the moment, regrettably, is not on waste management. Equally, the funders through your MIG, you know, the construction of a landfill site, I think we did an estimate of about 3 years back. So that would be one of the issues that around waste management. In terms of efficiency and all that, I think our focus has been on looking at solar energy as one of the alternatives, so that around we are indicating our report on going forward. Prof, you asked about the skills audit as opposed to the work study process. And I think I want to tie my response to work study process. And I think I want to tie my response to Commissioner Keswa's comments insofar as the section 106, because I think there is a relationship. Oh, okay. Yes, the reason why we are busy with the skills audit is because it's one of the findings that arose from the Section 106 report, which was commissioned by the MEC. Also just coming back to the report was talking about the skills gap. The report was pointing to weaknesses or malpractices in the recruitment processes. For instance, people having been promoted without in the municipalities, people have been meeting the requirements, and 106, it was not necessarily a work plan study that you can look at your areas of efficiency, areas of weaknesses, and try to balance the two. So currently we are busy with that particular process. But maybe just to finalize the issue with regards to the Office of the Executive Mayor, you were saying there's a high vacancy rate. Why the positions? You'll see that the organogram provides for 27. But you will see that only 12 of those positions are filled, precisely because we are in the process of trimming the organogram down. So it does not necessarily mean that all the positions. are what you call filled positions. That is the members of the mayoral committee. In the Lekotla recently was that we need to start putting plans to collect refuse removal in informal settlement, because it's generating the unauthorized expenditure. Commissioner Mugonyama, yes, you are correct. In fact, my presentation exactly spoke to that, to say our expenditure exceeds our revenue. And that in itself says you are currently spending money that is not yet in the budget. You are reprioritizing. The reason stems from one of the major issues, and I really would like to plead with this commission. If anything, maybe that you can remember from this presentation would be this from my side. Get a bailout, but they don't effect a write-off. And I'm not suggesting that we should be in a fight with ESCOM, but I'm saying in cases such as ours, where we are saying we are trying, someone spoke about power cuts and so on. We are trying the best we can to plead with you, wherever you are. Really, when there's a write-off, or a bailout, which we appreciate, eyes of the public, it should not necessarily be for ESCOM alone. So I just thought I must speak to that. The unauthorized expenditure, I must indicate the MPEC has already said to investigate. Part of the reason why it is increasing is because the previous investigations that were done, Auditor General was not happy with the quality of the reports, and as such, they were deemed to have been null and void, resulting in the increase in the unauthorized expenditure, which was compounding from year to year. There's also been programs and projects that they have implemented. Recently, they have donated a piece of land, the Brandon Village, to the municipality. The donation has not been concluded, I must say. It's still in the transfer processes. So we are RDP houses that they are also implementing, programs. The challenge in our case is not that ESCOM provides us electricity. Is not sufficient to satisfy a residential area. As a result, we've gone to ESCOM, we've requested them to increase the capacity to the municipality. But owing to the escalation of the debt, ESCOM is not amenable to assisting the municipality. They have flatly refused. The MEC has intervened. I want to believe that the intervention has gone even to the interministerial task team. We are engaging with them. There was an undertaking and a condition placed to the engaging with them. There was an undertaking and a condition placed to the municipality to say we must pay 95 million upfront for them to secure the mobile transformer and increase our capacity. But that has not yet happened. So that is in the main, the challenges of electricity are tied with the fact that our capacity has increased, Chairperson, and as a result, we are not able to meet everyone. We are doing internal load shedding. So we are switching these people on, the other off, and so on. And we know the commission will not be happy with that response, but that is the true fact that I'm prepared to place before yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you very much, MM. We are glad that you mentioned that you are under oath. We are just being informed that some of the information that is being provided, particularly with regards to refuse removal. Finish follow-up questions, if any